300 soldiers that will fight a battle. And FYI, the last test, or the last criteria that the soldiers had to pass, was the water test. So it was 300 men that didn't, just dive into the water because they had been thirsty. They, brought the water up. They had some character about themselves, different than all the other thousands of men that was there. They drank their water a certain way, and because of that, they were chosen to then fight, the battle of Jericho. We look at this concept of requirements, what it is to require. Require is to set the criteria, the standards, and the limits. To set the standards, criteria, and the limits. You look at Deuteronomy 10 and 12. There's a question there. It says, what does God require? What does God require? And that's the first time we hear, love God with all thy heart and all thy soul. And you can see the wording in that verse, and it makes it really, really simple, really clear of what we must do. Ultimately, completing what God requires is the only thing that determines our eternal home. The rich young ruler in our reading, he chose not to adhere to the requirements. And it's very interesting that all the commandments that Jesus gave him, of the 10 commandments, he was like, you know what? I've kept that from my youth. He says, so if I'm lacking something, what am I lacking? What must I do now to enter heaven, enter the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus told him something really simple. And he said, give away all you had. And also, if you look in this passage really close, he's saying, don't just give it away, there's nothing, that's not the end of the condition, is that you give it away. Because he says, if you give it away and follow me, you have treasures, untold treasures in heaven. So he didn't say, just empty your pockets, some people get robbed. Yeah, give me all your money. He had something else for that rich young ruler. And in fact, the rich young ruler asked, he said, I want to go to heaven. He said it. He stated, what must I do to enter the kingdom? In essence, Jesus is saying, give up your perspective, or give up what you're really holding to in this life, his riches, and give that away, and then come follow me. And then actually, if you really, really want to be rich, you have treasures untold in heaven. So he didn't want him to be empty-handed. He didn't want us to, take a vow of poverty.